going on, everybody? Gustav the 13th here with another video. Happy New Year, by the way, as we are checking out the two releases for the 1st of January 2026. One of them being another 4-star or 4-drop banner for what's actually going to be a 3-star suit. The R44 finally here, starting at 550 as a support, ground and space. Actually not awful. We were in a situation where we couldn't really get the other level, so I got the level 1. I ended up getting the new suit for the full cloth on my other account, which we will be also doing a video for if you want to check that out. But for now, let's go through the weapons and stuff for the R44 here. So we got some finger guns here, 5-2 finger launcher, power of 150, ammo of 50, and a range of 275. And a reload time of 10. I think in general, the reload times on these, not awful. All of them are still double digits, but it's like for the missile pod, 10. For the flash grenade, which it has a flash grenade that I think actually shoots forward, no real arc or anything to worry about there. 11 seconds for that, ammo 4 on that. Decent amount of cooldown for that for 5 seconds. And then the cannon, as you would expect, regular stun, 13 seconds on the reload. And then it has a cluster bomb shot here for 10 seconds on the reload. And when you're talking about these, 450 for the range for the cannons. 1100 times 2, ammo of 8 on this one. And for the rest of the range, we got 275 for the finger launches, which is weird because I think depending on what it is, if it's considered like a machine gun or whatever, that's probably just going to get more ammo. It'd be nice if it got more range, but yeah, no. And then the missile pod, I'm a little bit on the fence about the missile pod. I will say that much, just because there's a little bit of difference in the behavior between that and here, and we'll get into this a little bit for the transformation, because it does transform much like the loadout and everything else. So in the transform mode, we get a really big bombardment here, an ammo of 24 compared to the ammo of half of that for 12, because it's only using the one arm when it's untransformed, which I think is a little bit odd. It's not like this has a saber. It's got him on his hands. In fact, I would assume and would hope that both the finger launcher here and the missile pods would just be used both at the same time, but obviously they wanted to save that for this, so I don't know. I think it's a weird thing to make an exception for, especially because you get a different ammo type for the transformation for the missile pods with a chain explosion. So, and this actually has a really long cooldown here when it comes to between shots. 3.5, definitely a little bit rough, especially when they're trying to encourage you to do drifting and stuff with a skill that we're going to talk about later, because the cannon itself actually gets a rapid shot in all of them stun. The finger launcher here as well, and like I said, for the 24 ammo here, you can actually do a good stream of damage while you're just advancing forward. Not a lot of accumulation right out of the gate, but a very steady rate of fire, so you will get there over time. All right, getting into the stats and skills here. Not a big skill list, as you can see, but for the stats, let's get into it a little bit here. 18k for the health. Ballistic, beam, and melee resistance are 20, 18, and 22 respectively. Range strength of 40. Melee strength of 15, no surprises there. Movement speed of 190. No top speed, which, oh, that's right, because we're transformed. That's my bad. So the 190 is actually because it's transformed. You can bump that up a little bit and try to get it to 200, depending on what you want to do. My thing is that I would probably try to put that more into turning speed, because as you can see, in the transform state, the turning speed is actually 60, as opposed to a turning speed of 66 when it's just in its baseline form. Thrusting gauge is 75. And for these part slottage, we have 12, 11, and 13 for close, medium, and long. So, untransformed, we have High Performance Balancer 1, High Spec Ambec 2, and Force Injector 1, Anti-Blast Stabilizer 1, High Performance Radar 2, High Performance Scope 2, Observational Data Link, as you would expect, Precision Shelling, Level 1 Stabilization Device, so activated when crouching on the ground and remaining still in space. So, if you don't really want to transform, but you still want to try to brace yourself a little bit without, busting out the shock dampeners and having to move and yada yada, you can just use this. Reaction is reduced while activated, but tackles cannot be performed. And because this is actually a space compatible suit. It does get aerospace gimbal so that it doesn't have as many back problems as other suits that don't. It does have a resist move as well, so you can get your pseudo roll in there, get a little bit of extra resistance on there as well. Transformation and damage control 1. You know, I can appreciate that. In terms of what we got going on here, anti-blast stabilizer, high speed charge, so staggers opponents on impact while moving post transformation. This is something that the Lodo did not have, which is kind of a cousin or ancestor to this thing in and of itself. A little bit more hefty here by comparison, I guess, is what their conclusion for that is. High performance radar 2, high performance scope 2, operational data link, yada yada. Shock dampeners is the big thing for the transformation, but much like the Lodo, it also gets stealth when transformed, as well as quick drift. So increased turning performance while drifting, boosts damage dealt when ranged with ranged attacks, and reduces damage taken from ranged weapons. So you get a little bit more for trying to be as mobile as possible here, especially because you're dealing with another small form factor suit. It's going to be to your advantage to try to make yourself as agile as possible. So I can appreciate the reward for that. Looking at the enhancements, we have +1 to range strength, +1 to melee resistance, +100 to health. And for the final one, complex expansion slot for all the slots is 2090 for the free stuff. For the unlockable things, then we have +5 to melee resistance and +5 to range strength. Overall, pretty neat suit. Let's try to take this into practice, and we'll show it off a little bit before we get into our example match. And of course, this time it doesn't load as fast when I say that. New Year, same shit, right? Hopefully you guys had a good one. Oh my god, load faster, I beg. Thank you. Hi. It still feels so... I don't know if you guys remember when the Lodo first came out and people were trying to paint it like this thing all the time, and now it's just here, you know. I can appreciate that. Good shit. Alright, let's check 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we got 13 shots or so for the finger gun. Cluster bomb, as you can see here, a decent amount of accumulation across the board with a good spread there. The cannon, as you can imagine, instant stagger there. A little bit of decent amount on this guy, even with this being a naked build. Missile pod for the flash, as well as you can just see how fast it goes and engages. Let's show this off as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 shots or so for the stun on there. We'll do a quick reload for that in a moment. But yeah, I do find it a little bit odd that it only uses the stuff on the right arm when it comes to its untransformed situation. But a pretty steady rate of fire for the missile pod. That being said, the traversal speed for the missiles, not super great. Not as great as it probably could be. Now, once we get a little bit more boost here, we'll get into the transformation. So, immediately, like we were saying, rapid fire for this. Let me see if I can get a good idea. So, like, yeah, good amount of accumulation on that cluster missile as well. So 364, 728 is both of them there, right? 400 flat for a single one when it's kind of partially drifting like that. It's a little bit tough, especially in maps like this where you gotta really sink yourself around corners and stuff to try to get the proper momentum going. But you do have the impact to play around with, so you can definitely just do a lot of good, solid rocking back and forth and try to get that going for yourself as well. But overall, this is a very tricky suit. In some ways, I would almost say that this is kind of the situation that the GF tank was kind of hoping for, and it was a little bit of a rough bid. I would almost argue that the shoulder cannons being beam based was definitely to its disadvantage on top of its typing. Suits like this, you know, you definitely want to have a type advantage against as many things as possible. And I'm a little bit on the fence because, like I said, we only have the 550 version. I think at 550 it's doing pretty well for itself, although it does have to deal with some nastier, kind of like more meta heavy suits like the Gyaradoga sleeves and other things like that. in those instances, if they really do get a good beat on you for their, you know, for their funnels and things like that, then that can be a little bit rough. As you're seeing here, not bad on the accumulation when it comes to stuff here, and then of course you can just do the extra and you'll have the extra buffer for the stone resistance stuff if you're in this crouching mode. More often than not though, they're mostly just hoping that you'll keep going between all the different modes here for the transformations in order to continue doing your damage. So overall, I think this will be a neat one to run. There's gonna definitely be times where it feels a little bit more feast or famine, and it's just real quick to entertain it. So neutral for the melee there. Good like kind of thrust punch. For whatever reason, the downswing isn't even that much of an advancing downswing. It's just a more, you know, Falcon Punch kind of situation going on there. Kind of dramatic. Kind of wish they would have gave it a little bit more push. And I know that they let you do the impact melee on this, but it would have been funny if we had more of a Guntank 2 situation where it would actually like the downswing was actually just like it going into its mode here and then just pushing forward. I think that would have been cool. But you know, these guys, for as crazy as they go on certain things, they definitely hold back in others, which is, you know, is what it is. But very straightforward kind of situation here. Not a whole lot else to say about it otherwise. So we do have some example matches, and we will be putting one of them right around here. He's hyper-hammering people. Oh, is he streaming right now? Clicking on Polka. But yeah, I think the best thing about him is him doing that for bomb plants. Because he'll just fucking slam it down on people with the right range and then like rake it backwards and just the fact that it lets him do that is so goofy. This dude is not a mistake. It's not a mistake. Why do we have a fucking cheeky zero cheeky? Deal. Oh yeah. I'm coming. Oh, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I gotta go ahead of you.
Your ally's been knocked out! I'm picking up an SOS from an ally. An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
Damage shouldn't affect you much.
Oh, hit him.
An SOS from an ally.
Oh, we both did it.
Mobile suit. We captured a beacon.
Ole, ole, ole. Ole, ole, ole. I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming. Ah! Move your ass.
Your ally's been knocked out. Enemy mobile suit destroyed. Fire incoming. You've taken some serious damage.
I keep reflexively backing up instead of drifting because I'm just like, oh, I need to move the stick. No, you don't. No, no, you don't.
Pick where and how you'll sortie. Your ally's been knocked out. Good luck.
I don't think it moves if I don't move though, right? Yeah, no, it just sits.
Enemy mobile suit destroyed! An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit!
I do. Alright.
Supporting fire's been set up! Pull out of the hot zone! You've taken some serious damage!
My butt! No!
Good!
No!
Oh
And beating me up.
no! Firing
What the hell?
supporting fire scored some nice hits! Time for cleanup!
I'm getting like 40 plus times tomorrow. I had to go through all of them. Oh, so is this just like a bunch of New Year's bonus stuff?
Mobile suit. Good luck!
That's a good point. A lot of other stuff, like I should probably log into Horse later. Speaking of this song, and then go look at G-Gen Eternal because they probably gave us a bunch of diamonds again. I do.
Shouldn't affect you much. An ally has mobile suit. Enemy down.
I didn't hear that.
We captured a beacon. Enemy mobile suit destroyed.
Transport, please. He's in there somewhere. I think he's just crouched. I can't see him. Where is he? Oh, he's moving this way.
Your allies. An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit. The enemy's captured a beacon. Enemy mobile suit.
He just got out.
An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit. You've taken some
No.
serious damage.
Stop. Jeez.
Whoa, your mobile suit.
Get this jigging away from her.
Looks like we're ahead for now.
I do. I do.
Destroyed an enemy mobile suit. Oh no! Your mobile suit.
That's just a jig and D. Brother, he's doing it.
An ally has just.
Oh no. The war crimes. No.
He's been knocked out.
I think he might have ran out of fucking iframes by then. Now they're going. Shit. No, they're going.
Your ally's been knocked out.
Yeah, I mean they gotta slow it down at some point somehow, right? They really want you to chew on shit a little bit more while they actually make content.
2 minutes left in the mission. Ace has just jumped up and
Oh, no, that nudged me. I'm in trouble.
This damage shouldn't.
So many. Everyone's dead.
Serious damage. Whoa, your mobile suit. Oh no! Your mobile suit has had it.
Oh, way too late. Yeah. I hear like a barren desert.
Supporting fire's been set up. Pull out of the hot zone.
Damn, brother dove in deep. Jesus.
Good luck. Long-range supporting fire's coming in hot. An ally has firing's over. Oh, that supporting fire did practically
Whack
nothing.
you. No. No. No.
An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit. 1 minute remaining. Stay
No. Is he actually gonna try to get it? Oh, yeah, he's doing it. Got a minute to go, dude.
Fire incoming. The enemy's
And
captured
we still
a
got
beacon.
C.
Good luck.
Alright. Oh.
An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit. Your ally's been knocked out. You captured a You've taken some serious damage. Isn't looking good.
It's so nice.
Oh, no. Your mobile suit has had it.
Oh, you got it. No, then the Jake and got it.
Yeah, we won!
And that was our match in the R44. So for anybody who's already familiar with the loadout, maybe you did a lot of like assault Guntank, or oh my god, what's the other one? In my brain. But if you've done any sort of transformable tank stuff in the past, you're gonna be right at home here. It has all the typical harm marks with the impact and the other weapons. Like I said, I do have a little bit of qualms with the way that they restrict some of the alt weapons to the transformation mode, just because it really seems like they're making you risk yourself a little bit more just to get what should be the full potential of the suit, and I think that's really shitty. But overall, you know, there's enough incentive with the quick drift and some other things that one way or another, in order to get that out, you are going to have to learn all that tech. And even without it, to a certain deal, just, you know, doing your usual back and forward kind of juking and stuff, you can still get a good amount of performance out of this thing. Do I think it's going to be the end all be all for this cost when it comes to supports and stuff? No. Like I've said in the past, 550 is pretty saturated. 600 and 650 are getting there by comparison. So there's definitely always going to be someone that's like, well, I do this one really well, or yada yada yada. So like, you can't go wrong with it. It's definitely not going to be the one that you're going to be seeing all the time. Like I think we'll see it consistently in matches, but I don't think it'll be every match, I guess is the way I would put that. But I'm just happy this thing exists. This is definitely one of those suits where even if it sucked, at the very least it is still around. They finally got to it and put it on the roster. So that's the long and short of it for the R44. Definitely going to be running this as much as I can over on our alt account, Ginny. Over on stream, both on Twitch and YouTube, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. Let us know what you feel about this suit in the comments, and if you even spun for it. And until next time, I hope you guys have a good rest of your morning, night, or whatever. Happy New Year, and I'll talk to you all in the next video. Maybe even for the full cloth one. Let's see.